Protests against Novak Djokovic's detention in an immigration hotel have spread from Melbourne to Belgrade. His mother claims the cancellation of his visa was political.
They are keeping him as a prisoner. It's just not fair, it's not human.
Mr Djokovic is not being held captive in Australia. He is free to leave at any time that he chooses to do so, and Border Force will actually facilitate that.
Serbia's Foreign Affairs Ministry has also complained to the Australian ambassador, saying Djokovic should be given accommodation that's adequate for an athlete of his rank and that he's a victim of the political game.
In some way, I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, he knew the conditions since a lot of months ago.
Djokovic has been kept in a hotel with refugees and asylum seekers. Some of their supporters were arrested last night.
What we've seen is Novak arrive and be brought to this detention centre, and that opportunity has shed light on the fact that we have an absolutely arbitrary system here in Australia of border protection.
It's believed a recent COVID infection was the basis for Djokovic's Australian Open vaccine exemption, despite federal authorities writing to Tennis Australia saying that wouldn't be enough to qualify him for a visa. Tennis Australia has remained tight-lipped since the controversy broke.
I'm advised that the Victorian government officials were not aware or had not seen that correspondence. And as I've said, that's not that unusual because it's correspondence between the Commonwealth Government and Tennis Australia.
At the cricket in Sydney, the Prime Minister refused to weigh in.
We're here to talk about breast cancer today, and that's what I'm focused on.
Djokovic's visa approval was probably computer-generated, according to a former immigration official.
Clearly, these were cases that should have been flagged in the system and should have been subject to the involvement of a human being.
It has become a sort of focus point, I think, now for how the federal government has chosen to pursue its border-related restrictions.
Today is Orthodox Christmas. Djokovic would normally visit Brunswick's Holy Trinity Church.
We missed him, obviously, this year, and we were all saddened by that.
At least one more international player and an official are now being investigated by Border Force.
And Nicole Asher joins us now. Nicole, how's it looking there right now?
Thanks, Jeremy. Look, a fairly severe weather system just came through that part of Melbourne, and police were telling me that they hope that keeps some of the numbers of supporters and protesters and refugee advocates down this evening. But there were many still hanging around, braving some really heavy rain and hail as well. So I don't think there's any doubt that they will be returning to the street to, keep trying to speak to their tennis hero this evening. But speaking of tennis players, we have heard from one of the notable Australian players late this afternoon, Nick Kyrgios, who's normally fairly vocal at coming forward. He says that while he does support vaccinations, he doesn't like the way that this situation's been handled in terms of Novak Djokovic. He says that the memes and headlines, people need to be remembering that they're speaking about one of the great champions of tennis, and that he is a human, and he's calling on people to do better, Jeremy.
Nicole Asher reporting.